Hello and welcome to episode 257. That's right, of the Veeam Community Recap. I'm Rick Vanover, the Rickatron, back in the office for now, joined by Maddie, also in normal circumstances. Good day, Maddie. How are you?
Good day, Rick, and good day, community. I'm doing great. Second week in, back from vacation, and getting ready for a business trip for 2 weeks going to South Africa. And we're going to talk a little bit about it later on. But how are you, Rick? How is to
Um,
be back in normal
well,
circumstances? It's been a
let's
while.
see. What was last week? I don't even remember. Last week there was an analyst event in Boston. Could not record. It was really good. And then week before, I did a little bit of a spring break trip with my son, and I can't remember 2 weeks before that. So it's like it's been a while since I've been back, and I'll be out next week. So I just throwing all kinds of curveballs at you, Maddie. If it's really busy right now and related to Veeam, which I'll talk about that here in a bit as well. We've got so much to cover here today. Things are good. I just apologize, community. I got community guilt because I've missed a few episodes, so I feel bad. So sorry about that.
I think we both missed, right? But we kind of made it happen. It was, if it was not a video, there was a post. We kept it going. Let's put it that way, in a
Yeah,
way or another.
yeah, yeah.
So,
It's crazy because if we add the video, it's an extra half hour for both of us
yeah.
generally. But the post is also a block of work, right? So when we don't do the video, it's just it. Sometimes we just can't come up with that half hour, and that's how it works. But
Yep.
nonetheless, we're getting it done. So you ready to jump in?
Yeah, let's do it. We have some great content to cover today. So,
Yeah, that's right. First up is Andreas Bullman with a topic about email notifications and Veeam backup and replication and Veeam Enterprise Manager. Maddie, I just had this happen, so I've got some perspectives. But what caught your eye on Andreas's content?
first of all, second week in a row, Andrea is being mentioned in the weekly recap. So he's doing something good with his content. Glad to have you back. Yeah, he's talking about email notifications in Veeam solutions and why they suddenly stop working for a lot of people. You just mentioned you're stopped as well. So um, I'm looking forward to hear on your takeaway as well. But for years, as Andreas mentioned in here, we all did kind of the same thing, right? SMTP server, username, password, done. The problem is that now this model is dead, is not actual, especially with Microsoft 365 shutting off the basic authentication. So now it's replaced by the modern authentication with authorization. Instead of storing a password, basically, now Veeam uses short-lived tokens that get renewed automatically after you authorize the app one time. And this is obviously more secure, and it is a more complex procedure than before. But what I really like about this article, Andrea's perspective here, is that he highlights the real risk that you might think backups are fine simply because you didn't get an error email, but then he drops as well a very important reminder: email alerts only work if the Veeam server itself is up. So notifications are important, but they are not monitoring. So if Veeam can't run, it can't warn you either. So I think overall it's a really good view on that. I think we might have talked about it previously. I don't know why, but I do remember we mentioned it maybe in a different form when it happened, um, this change. But overall, great article, great content, and looking forward to hear your views because you had this happen. So
Yeah, I had this happen in Andreas. By the way, I love the. I don't want to call it a kind of cartoon comic book, these visuals, but I just can't wait to see what's next on these pictures. Yes, I had this happen where I had to go reauthorize the email server to send alerts. And actually, the funny thing is, and here's an example. This is actually kind of close. I thought maybe the server was off. That's a good kind of scenario. Or in my environment, it's usually a lot of the license has expired because we do a lot of, in our lab, we'll do an NFR, not for resale. And I do them usually short term anyways. And sometimes they expire, but I logged in and all the jobs were working fine. They just weren't alerting me. And that's just one of those Monday morning type things that I came into. So I understand what's going on a lot better now. So thank you, Andreas, for really outlining how these authorizations work. Good stuff.
Yeah, totally.
All right, next up is Nico with the 3-2-1-1 rule and some still awesome visualizations. I love the token bad actor in the top right. And just what's catching my eye is definitely AI, because bad actor, I think that's 6 fingers if I'm counting right. That's a mini. I got an extra thumb going on. I don't know how, but it must be really bad. But Maddie, what caught your eye on this post from Nico's other than the 6 finger bad actor?
Fingers. Well, first of all, I just want to say welcome back, Nico, because I think this is the first article that I see from Nico in a very long time. I think he kind of took a break to prioritize other things, but I think now he's back. So great to have you back. And when I think Nico, I definitely think 3-2-1-1-0 backup rule. He also had like one article a long time ago that got so many views, and it was for a very long time I was looking at the top most viewed articles in the community, and that was the top on the top list for a very long time. So good stuff. And he wrote about this quite a lot in the past, and now he's actually back with a new concept, starting with the 3-2-1-1-0 rule, and in a very much way, alignment with how the industry is reshaping things right now. So his article is about how the classic 3-2-1-1-0 backup rule is still very important, but no longer enough on its own. So he says the rule gives you a solid baseline, multiple copies, different media, offsite, immutable, verified restores. But the problem today, as things are getting more complex, the attackers actively design their ransomware attacks to break that exact model. You need to think a little bit different. So backups are no longer the safety net. They are definitely one of the first things attackers go after. So relying on a single immutable copy, that's just a single point of failure, says Nico in here. But then he talks about the idea of moving to 3-2-1-2-0 rule, keeping at least 2 independent immutable or air gap backups, not just one for speed and recovery, like a hardened repository, and another that's built purely to survive, like object storage, cloud connect, or tape. And I guess the big takeaway in here is just like, one immutable copy is good backup hygiene, but 2 independent one is the real cyber resilience. So I think this is great. Great to have you back, Nico. And just keep on posting some great content as always.
Yeah, I actually have as well. I'll go back up to the 3-2-1-2-0 twist here. I've actually started advising this to clients as well. And my one take here is that so let's take a scenario 2 immutable copies. I love the hardened repository and then an object storage as an answer here. But probably the best part here, Maddie, is 0, the no surprises. So what I like about having no surprises is it's one of those things where you can get into automated recovery verification with Sure Backup. Friends, we've had that for over 15 years, right? It should be done. I realize that's a lot of work. So some folks maybe just want to do the Sure Backup scan. So do a threat hunter scan once the backup's taken. That's a very lighter way that you can have no surprises. So it's really a good way to make sure that there's no surprises. So really good stuff, Nico. Good to have you back. And I am all about the 3-2-1-1-0 rule. Good stuff. All right, next up is Mateus Giovanni. Speaking of tape, you mentioned that in the last segment there, Maddie. Giovanni's up with some information, some real world advice on tape.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty good article as well. He gives us a good reminder that issues are almost never as simple as bad media, right? He walks us through real Veeam tape troubleshooting cases, and shows how errors, that might just look random, stuck tapes, input output errors, cartridges marked as bad, often turn out to be more like mechanical or environmental or firmware related, not actual the tape failure. So pay attention to that. And then he goes over a case that was caused by something as small as a fiber cable blocking the robot, another by firmware not correctly handling modern LTO media, another by failing drives, mislabeling healthy tapes as bad. So he just gives some examples in there, just to kind of prove whatever he mentions in the introduction. And I think the mindset that he promotes here is just like don't blindly trust error messages. Instead, look for patterns, across the slots, the drives, the tapes, the environments. And the big takeaway, is that when multiple tapes fail at once, it's usually the library or the drives, not the media. And then the good troubleshooting means combining log analysis with real physical inspection. So I think this is pretty good. We haven't mentioned a tape article in a while, so good stuff, Mateus.
Yeah, it is good stuff, and I'm only like halfway through. I mean, friends, this goes through a lot. So this has definitely got a lot of real world experience. So Giovanni, thank you so much. A lot of people, Maddie, I like to say everyone has a story of tape letting them down. But make no mistake, tape is an absolute modern marvel of engineering. The acquisition cost, the portability cannot be beat for that media, period, anything out there. And then the other thing is, what I think is really unique is if you take worm media, so write once, read many, WORM, tape media, as far as I know, tell me if anyone knows different. That is, if you have a worm tape removed from the library, as far as I know, that's the only storage specimen that's offline, air gapped, and immutable all at the same time. So if you really think about some of the most durable types of resilient media, this would be a really good part of your 32110 rule. So good to call your name, Mateus. And I'm going to send this one over to Popov because he loves a good tape story. So thank you so much for
That's
sharing.
good. Every time I read something tape related, I always go back to, I don't know if you remember, but that stuck with me. There was like an event, like a virtual event from VUG Canada. Heen and Chris, they did like
Yeah.
a round tape, and the title was "Is Tape Dead?" It's always coming to my mind. So that really had impact. That was a
Yeah.
good title, I think.
Indeed. Indeed. All right.
Yeah.
So next up is this Marcel?
No, this is Petr from
Okay.
Czech Republic.
I had
He's
two chances in Czech and I had it wrong. So okay. So
Marcel is actually in
wrong
Slovakia.
country. Okay,
Yeah,
not even close. Neighboring, but wrong. All
yeah.
right. So sorry about that. I apologize for that. So what's your pick for Vanguard Blog Spotlight?
Well, first of all, the title, I don't think we mentioned him before, Petra. So it's great, first of all, to be mentioned for the first time in the Vanguard blog spotlight. And also he has a very good title for his blog, Samurai. I like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Petra actually writes really good blogs. This is something that happened to him recently. He talks about failure scenario that he got and most probably didn't think of. I'm sure he first got really frustrating trying other routes. But basically, it was a failure in Veeam 1 where the reporting service refused to start because the web API certificate was missing.
Hmm.
So the initial symptom wasn't like a service error, it was missing data in the Veeam 1 client and the spike of hanging SQL queries, which eventually led to a server restart. And after that, both the client and web UI failed completely. And then he says, like in services MSC, the reporting service would start and immediately stop. And the key clue showed up in event viewer. That was event ID 8199, stating that the web API server couldn't find the certificate bound to port 2741. So the root cause was a missing or invalid self-signed web API certificate, commonly triggered after changes like domain joins or environmental modification. And the fix was to regenerate the certificate using the Veeam 1 settings utility, reminded, restart services, and everything came back online. I guess the big lesson is when Veeam 1 reporting fails hard, always check certificates early, not just services or SQL, because you're going to get some frustrations going on because you are not going to know where it's coming from. You're going to look in all directions and then you're going to be like, oh, wait, that was it. So,
It's funny, Maddie. Certificates are so often one of those things that come up and we stub our toe on these old problems again and again. So thank you, Peter, for sharing that.
Yeah, it's a good reminder, that we have to check on that.
Yeah. All right, we got some fun stuff. We're going over to special department news now, and we still got a whole bunch of tabs to go into. But speaking of a trip coming up, I love it when they do Veeam stuff on a Tuesday, Thursday, so you can hit 2 different cities in one trip, both Johannesburg and Cape Town. Some really good stuff coming up.
Yes, I'm going to, as I was mentioning at the beginning, I'm going to have this 2 weeks trip in South Africa. The first week is going to be for the Veeam user groups, Johannesburg and Cape Town. We're going to have Jonathan, our leader, in there. He's going to do a presentation on the community. Probably I'm going to jump in as well. So thank you for putting everything together, Jonathan. I know that has been a very, a lot of work, to put it like that. We're going to also have sessions on security AI. We're going to have Ian doing those sessions, and we know he's the guy for that. And we have Exagrid sponsoring. It's going to be almost the whole day event. We have a lunch as well. I think it's more like what time is that? Yeah, we have a lunch and networking. So as I could see, it's going to be probably until 5 or so. It says here 9 to 2.
Yep.
I guess it was just showing different times because of my time zone. So
yeah, this is local time. The page itself translates to browser time.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
so it's 9 to
good. I made a mistake one time. I ordered a pizza online on the plane and it took the wrong time zone. Anyways, that's why it was 3 hours late. But anyways, this is good stuff. I really like also that we're going to be covering the Data Command Center. That's actually my favorite part.
That's going to be great. And also Veeam University. You see there, Veeam University. That's going to actually be Federica doing like she's going to be online. She's not going to be in person there, but she's going to be online with us, and she's going to do some updates on what's new with the Veeam University and with the certification. So I think that's going to be a good thing. So looking forward to that. The second week, I'm going to a Women in Tech event, and I'm going to report all on that. I'm looking forward to it. It's always good learnings, good fun, great to meet, ladies in tech with a lot of knowledge and you can, make some great connections in there. So really going to be a good trip, I'm sure.
Is that the one in Amsterdam?
No, this is going to be in South Africa.
Oh gosh, it's in South Africa as well. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Can't remember. I can't keep up. There's so many.
I know, Rick. I know. It's okay. Oh. You have so much going on, and we're gonna talk about that much going on.
Awesome. Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, Exagrid. That'll be great.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, post by Maddie herself about the World Backup Day Heroes. We had really good turnout for this. That was great.
Yeah, we had a really like a lot of great content share. We have, I believe, 12 blogs with great stories about, how a backup can save your day or month or year, depending how you put it. And we finally reached this contest to its end, and we have the three winners. As you can see, Mohammed got first place with the most votes at the community hub, 30 votes. We have the second place that got some LinkedIn love, 215 likes for Mateus Giovanni that we just mentioned. And the third place, congratulations, Mateus Wolf, two Brazilians, I guess.
Mhm.
He got most of the likes on his post at the community hub. So, congrats, all of you. Fantastic job.
Yeah, exactly. I love great initiative, Maddie. This is something that we haven't done, and that's a rather baller badge. Please tell
I
me
know.
we'll do one for next year, so I can finally get around to getting the badge myself. So
Well, you are not getting the
for
2026,
next year,
2027. Yeah.
yes, I
We made it even more specific so people fight for it, you
yes,
know.
exactly. Pay them in pixels. That's what they
I
say.
know people love it, right?
Awesome. Great job, Maddie, and great job, winners. All right, next up. This is cool. I love the V100 show. Let's see, Thursday, May 7th. So that'll be the next one coming up. This one
Yeah.
has one of the vanguards, Stephen New, hosting Neil Ferris from one of the Major League Baseball teams in the United States. This is awesome. Network Infrastructure Director Neil Ferris, and then Maddie, and then Corinne going to talk about how the service provider delivered some real business benefits to the organization there. So I think that's going to be a great one. And actually, I think I'm just doing it. That's how you do it. You click attend. That's all you got to do, and
No,
LinkedIn
you
will
just
send you a
register.
reminder.
You
Yeah.
have to. I mean, I what I love about this twist, this new series of Vim 100 show is we are. I mean, whatever we did in the past 2 years, 2 years and a half, it's fantastic as well. We brought like passion projects to the show. We had like our vanguards, legends, MVPs talking about technology that they love the most, what they do with the technology, how they, create all these passion projects. But this is like you have a Vim 100 member bringing a customer they are working with, because as we know, many of our basically Vim 100 they work for a partner company, so they are bringing a customer they experience success with, they used Vim products, they've been working for a long time, and you know they are basically coming and bringing that story to life and sharing it with the rest of the world, and showing the how powerful and how impactful sometimes choosing the right solutions, the right company, the right backup, the right product for you um, might be for for the success of your company on the long run. So I really love this one, and I'm really looking forward to be part of this show.
Yeah, I think it's also kind of another point to highlight is that, yes, we have so many partners in the V100 programs, and every day they're driving solutions for customers. And so when they share their
Mhm.
expertise here, it's probably fresh off of a real scenario. So I love that expertise. Thank you, Neil. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Maddie. Thank you, Corinne. That'll be a great one. All right.
Yeah.
Last piece of special department news. I want to talk to everybody about Veeam On. And I haven't spoken about it much on the recap or at all.
Yeah,
But
we haven't.
Sophia's given me the business to give an update, and so here I am. I'm going to give an update on. First of all, I have to say this VMON it will be different. We've made some material changes to how the event is structured. So basically, VMON will be three what we're going to call flagship events: May 12th in New York, London 3rd June, Sydney, 30th July. Each of these will have their own innovation milestones, their own news, and they will be done at a higher production quality. So we might be familiar with like a Veeam tour, okay? And those will still happen in the markets all over, right? So those are what we know. And it's also important to note that new this year, we will have more Veeam tours in North America, whereas last year we kind of tested that with Chicago and Toronto, and now we're going to have several more. So you'll see Veeam tours around the world kind of carry on as they have. But I also want to draw your attention to an online experience. Now, for the world, Veeam, the online experience, is what you want to target. If I look at London, Sydney, and New York, these three are really targeted to those areas. Now, what I mean by that is New York, the Veeam New York is not Veeam USA. It's not Veeam North America. Likewise, the London event is not Veeam EMEA. The Sydney event is not Veeam APJ. The New York event is really targeting that East Coast corridor. So like Baltimore to Boston and everything in between. London is really targeting the UK and I believe to an extent Ireland. And then Sydney is really targeting East Coast Australia. So think of these as like a mega catchment, but they'll have global news, they'll have global innovation milestones. But from the audience they're trying to capture is really focused to those concentrations. And then the Veeam tours will go as they have been generally, and then Veeam Unplugs as well. So I know a lot of folks use both of those in their local markets. And I'm confirmed for, let's go to the map. I'm going to London, I'm going to Munich, and then I'm also going to Ecuador and Mexico City. And Maddie, I think you're going to go to Brazil.
I will go to Chile and Argentina, and most probably we're going to have some Veeam user groups as well going on those weeks.
Yeah. So, and you're really good about adding stuff to those. So there's Sophia, she'll join me in Ecuador, and there's Kirsten. I think that's Kirsten. Sophia will join me in Ecuador and Mexico. So Veeam.com, you can find out more about it. I will say that the online experience is for May 12th. It's going to have the keynote from New York streamed to it. And it'll have some breakouts as well. In fact, today I'm recording one, which is why I'm all dressed up. So we're going to record one of those today. So yeah, that is Veeam. I know a lot of people have been asking about it, so apologies for the latency on the information. Now, Matt, do you have any questions about Veeam? Did I miss something?
I don't have any questions. I do have one comment. I checked the dates for Veeam tours, and some of them, because I believe initially they were scheduled for different dates, and then last minute that changed. They might not be updated to the day. So whenever you check on these dates, maybe just double check with your
local team,
salesperson or with field marketing in your region, just to make sure that's the date the event is going to take place.
Yeah. And I think, I wish it could zoom in a little bit more because EMEA is very busy here. But I will say when it says like coming soon on the registration, some of them, so like Madrid is registered now, so it's ready to go from registration. And then like some of these other ones, Turkey ready to go. Some of these other markets maybe just register now for Bangalore, but I know LATAM had said coming soon. Yeah.
So I think for the ones that are like coming very soon, like May, June, I think they already kind of have pages, but the ones that are like August, September, they might still work on those. So yeah.
Or they don't even have a specific date. Like there was an ask for me to go to this one because I couldn't go to Sydney, right? So so stay tuned. But it's all at Veeam.com. Oh yeah, I'll be there. Yeah, look at that.
And you're gonna share this page anyway in with the rest of the content, so people are gonna have access to it. So
yeah, and it's on the website now. It's promoted to an extent, so we're excited for it. Yep. Next up, speaking of Sophia, who's new? Thank you, Safiomo, aka Hollywood, for the who's new. And we are grateful to welcome in plus 151 members this week, with the coolest usernames being Began, Grey Zocho, Dr. A, and Tiger Linux. And Tiger Linux is pretty cool.
I like that one.
From Alfred's point of view, it's a cat, rock on. And Bluey Boy is Alfred's pick. I think I need to talk to Sophia about that. That's an interesting
Yeah, she might know something we don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, welcome everyone. We love seeing these usernames that come in. There's some fun stuff on those, and most of them are even safe for work, which is great. But Maddie, thank you for curating the content here this week.
As always, Rick. It is my pleasure. Let's see what we're gonna do next week. When you're gonna be away, I'm gonna be away, so it's gonna be fun.
It might be a post. We'll see. I don't know.
You never know.
Yeah. All right, everyone. That wraps episode 257. Just go to community.veeam.com for more, and have a great weekend.